Welcome back to Mimosas with Comadres. This is Mimi.
Lola.
How is everyone doing? We are here. I think officially it's going to start getting like good weather. It is definitely going to be hot. Hopefully this muggy weather can go away, but I do appreciate it raining because my grass needs it and it's bringing all the pretty flowers in. Hopefully everyone's doing good. There's a lot of stuff going on this time around. We're just going to really touch base regarding Melissa Lucio. Her case is pretty groundbreaking. It's kind of sad. It's kind of good that she's actually getting that attention that it needs. A lot of people are like rounding up for her, and so that way she can get clemency or get a fair trial. So that's definitely going to be the main episode topic for this episode. But before we get into that, we're just going to do a little bit of catch up or a little bit of talking about the Nopos wow moments. For me, as everybody knows that, I was involved in, again, another car accident. And after that car accident, I wasn't feeling, the impact of anything. But now I do feel like I'm having a lot of pain on my back and my neck area. But, that's thankfully nothing else like happened. But that's what I'm dealing with, really. I'm just like starting to get like muscle relaxers and just to help me go to sleep, but nothing really major for me. Is everything been okay with you, Lola? With anything going on in life, or is just work?
Just work. Not even like the fun Rihanna kind. It's just work.
I know. You can hear it in your
man.
voice. Yeah, I know.
Kind of dry week or last few couple of weeks. So.
Yeah. It's been pretty chill, which is okay. But the drama has been happening outside of our lives, which is good. I think it's okay to be a bystander and not be involved in the drama. Yeah. So that's always good. I'll just go ahead and just jump in our Nopos wow moment. Again, the Nopos wow moments is just like something crazy is happening in the news media, pop culture, in our neck of the woods here in Texas or in San Antonio, and kind of we just share it and we talk about it and see what's going on with the chisme with them. But I guess the number one chisme and like pretty astonishing is I know you're into like action superheroes and all that stuff, like those movies. Mm-hmm. Have you heard about Bad Bunny?
He is going to be the first Latino or Hispanic Super Mario. Oh my God. Superhero for Marvel.
Yes. Yeah, so that's really exciting that he's going to be the super one. He's going to be the first Latino superhero for Marvel. So it's just actually pretty good. His whole name is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio. So that's his full name. And he's going to have his first headliner for Marvel. I feel like Marvel does these kind of things. They have more of a progressive, outline for their movies, so I feel like that's like suited for them, but that's pretty exciting. I feel like his whole career, like once Benito was starting to do the whole WWE, the wrestling and all that stuff, that was his like little.
He was in Bad Bunny was in WWE. Oh wow!
WWE. He did some.
He looks very not to be mean, but he looks very okay. It's not gonna come out right. He looks feminine. Like he's not a rough and tumble kind of guy.
Oh no, I mean he did one of those music videos with the dress.
Maybe because he's just like really good looking. So
he's good looking, but he did do a music video in the dress. Do you remember that? Yo Pero Sola. I think he was a full on woman. Crossdresser in that music video. So yeah, definitely understand how that comes out. But yeah, no, he's definitely going to be on there. His love for WWE is continuing and being a wrestler. Now that's he's going to be in El Muerto movie, and pretty much his superhero is a wrestler superhero.
Nice.
So that's what he's going to come in. And actually, his superpowers were pretty much is coming from the mask. So that mask was passed down through generations. And so that's how he's getting his superpowers from. And of course, it's like super strength. Like, he can do. Is
it going to be like a luchador mask or something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where they're going to go, like a luchador. There is actually comics about this. I don't know if anybody has seen this or the comics about the El Muerto, which I didn't even know. But there is apparently, and his superpower is like super strength, but it comes through the mask that he gets passed down by his family. So that's actually be interesting. And there's even a thing about he's going to be in the ring with Spider-Man.
Which one? Tom Holland.
That's the whole. Right now it's just Spider-Man. They just have him in the thing, and supposedly El Muerto is supposed to unmask Spider-Man. or they're supposed to unmask each other, but I think they become like partners instead of like enemies. So they start like doing things together. So that's the rumor of Tom Holland. Maybe they're talking about that Sony and Marvel are still kind of like talking with each other, and that's the rumors that he might make an appearance there at the Muertos. That'd be pretty cool. He, Tom Holland in the Spider-Man series has had like a really good success this time around. So I'm pretty sure for them moving that train, I don't think they'll not have him, have a guest experience there, but that'd be pretty cool. I think kind of that crossover.
Well, yeah, but all I'm thinking about is Bad Bunny's gonna get ripped.
Yeah,
so, I mean he has a nice
body
now,
but he
so
has
I'm just
to
like
bulk up.
That's all where my mind went. I was daydreaming to like, whoa, he's gonna get nice and big.
Yeah, I know. We're waiting for that transformation because he has to bulk up and all that stuff to even have that persona of a wrestler, like a thick wrestler. Well, I want him to be thick. I don't want him to be scrawny.
Yeah. Can't have no scrawny dude.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be interesting. And so hopefully, we don't know. The Spider-Man might make an appearance in that movie. So that's pretty neat. So yeah, I think this is 2024. I think that's when they're going to have this release, this movie. So,
but that's cool. They're getting more diverse with the actors and actresses alone that are playing these. Because I think there was just a lot of controversy before about as a white person playing all these colored roles, and it's just like, well, why not let the colored people that are coming up do that, and at least this is one thing for sure. I mean,
most definitely.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool too as well. So I think I'll be going to that one actually to the movie theater because I usually see the Batman and all that stuff, but I'll watch it here at the house.
Yeah.
But I'm already in love with Benito, so I think I will be going over there. I'll be
just to see him. Yeah.
I'm one of those kind of little fans. Yo pero sola pero with him or something kind of thing. But yeah, definitely. So that's like pretty cool. Just like being Latino or Latine, like how everybody's like talking about. I've been seeing that reference more the Latine thing with the E. I still need to look it up to see like what is it like? How is it different from Latinx or from Latino? I guess
maybe it's just not identifying a gender.
Well, that's what Latinx was supposed to be, not identifying a gender. But I don't know what Latino. Maybe it's more proper or something. I don't know. Who knows? But
we'll figure it out.
It sounds better on the tongue when you say Latina than Latinx. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I guess it's a little bit more acceptable. But the other no pues wow moment that I do want to talk about is A$AP Rocky. I mean, him and like Rihanna have been on the boats like throughout this whole pregnancy regarding. First was the rumors of him cheating, which they're denying, of course, and now he just got arrested. So he got arrested when he came back from the Barbados with Rihanna. They were up there vacationing, and as soon as he landed on the LAX, airport, they arrested him for it, and they raided his home and everything. They were looking for stuff. The reason why he got arrested is because of when was it? I think in November 2021, an incident with an acquaintance happened. He got in an argument, but he had a gun on him, A$AP, and apparently he
pointed.
Yeah, well, he shot. He shot, and he injured the other guy, the other victim. But it was like a graze. Thank God, it wasn't like no serious injury. It was just a graze bullet. So he had minor injuries from that. But yeah, definitely. That's what he's charged with assault with a deadly weapon. So that's his charge, and he was arrested on April 20th when they're coming back from their vacay over there from the Barbados, from where Rihanna's from. So that's pretty crazy. And of course, he bonded out. His bond was $550,000. So that's
10% of that.
Yeah.
Is what, 55,000?
Yeah. So his bond was at $550,000. He's supposed to report to court on August 17th. So that's continuation of his legal dramas. And people around Rihanna supposedly are saying she's trying not to stress over this, she's just moving forward. Of course, poor thing is pregnant. And so all she wants to do is hopefully that he will be there for the birth of their baby, So she's just, everybody's saying that she's very in love with him and she's going to support him, very loyal. So, she has his back. So hopefully, I don't know, him becoming a dad, lesson learns, calm down, don't be so aggressive and angry, and, figure shit out, maybe not carry guns because you know your temper kind of thing, So,
well, I
know.
I know it's a matter of security because, some people that are, they're gun-toting. It's not a matter of, for security. It's like a ego thing.
Yeah.
Like, they know that what they have in their pocket, and it's just like, that's not why you're supposed to carry it. I mean, while the constitutions and rights and all sorts of stuff is for these people to allow them to carry it, it's like, but that's not what they're using it for.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's just more of like a show off thing. Like I have a gun, you know, kind of protection kind of thing. But, you know, I don't know. Hopefully this whole baby thing, you know, calms people down and kind of gets their lives and focused straight. And Riri needs that too as well. I mean, shit, she came from a billionaire Arab guy to like dealing with drama and shit. But we don't know what happened with like that end either. It was like more private, but we shall see. But hopefully he's there for his baby's birth, and they had a baby shower and all that stuff. It was a rave baby shower, so that was kind of like a dope kind of thing. Yeah, a rave baby shower thing. So everybody, like the guests, were wearing like neon colors or whatever, and I don't know what else happened. It was very private, very intimate, and they decided to continue it because, you know, they just wanted to be around their family and their friends, intimate friends. But yeah, so that's with them. You know, she's you know, dealing with a man who kind of has his own issues. And just wishing the best for them, because, and I guess we've all been around with like men who you're like, they're not doing the greatest like decisions, but you're like, I trust in you, you know, I'm gonna be your you know, your ride or die or something. But it's like, I don't know, I'm in a different stage of life. I'm nobody's ride or die anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't mess around with that.
No, I'll ride, but I'm definitely not gonna die. I'm gonna second guess all those questions.
I told a very good friend of mine, I didn't know how this came up, but we were talking. I think we were talking about Thelma and Louise, and it was more of like them doing something together, being bonded at the hip and all that. Not the whole like getting in trouble and, you know, all that. But anyway, I was just kind of like, I would not help you like drag a body across the floor and like go and bury them. I said, I will take you to jail. Like, this will be the last time we see each other. I love you.
I'll pay your consignment.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll send you snacks. I mean, you know, but no, you are not taking me with you, especially if I didn't do nothing. I'm like, no. So I was like, so don't call me. I go, unless you want me to take you. I was like, then by all means, send me a text. I'll be right there. Get your good shoes on. And
yeah, exactly. I'll water your plants where you're going, kind of friend, you know, kind of thing. Oh man, that's crazy. But definitely, well, let's just go ahead and like, well, I guess that, you know, kind of slips into like today's episode regarding like people not making the correct decisions, how like life changes, and how maybe you don't live your life like as like what everybody else. We you know, he's carrying guns, you know, if these life choices, all of a sudden when it really matters, sometimes it's like it doesn't look good on you, like for you to plead your innocence, right? So this kind of goes into kind of what the whole case with Melissa. I always want to say her name, Melissa. I don't know what's wrong with me, but Melissa Lucio, in her case here in Texas. It's in Cameron County when this whole thing. She's a Rio Grande Valley person. I am from the RGV as well, so it was kind of when I was growing up, I heard of it a little bit, but it wasn't so impacted in my personal life. But as growing up, learning about the case and like seeing that documentary on Hulu, right? Hulu, on Hulu, that how it went down, it's just kind of crazy how she had nobody by her side, and kind of her back history kind of like blinded a lot of people, like her drug addiction issues, like and her history with CPS and stuff like that with the children. And just, you know, being poor, you know, being in the system where you're not going to be highlighted as a very, like, outstanding citizen. Like, how can she do that?
Everything she was a great target, for being poorly educated and just not having that advocate there. I mean,
she had no one there. I mean,
her own mother didn't believe her when she told her about the trauma that was going on. Yes. And then she believed her when they said that she was the one that hurt her little girl. So I'm watching it and I'm like, and it's she explains it the best on there, because she talks about being shocked but then confused. It's just kind of like you're expecting it, but then you're just like, huh? So I was like, this is not a typical Hispanic mom, but sometimes, you know, when the mom is not favoring the daughter, it's just kind of there where they're just like, well, no, you don't say nothing, you know, they're sweeping under the rug. But not only that, but like, you're lying. Yeah. So not even this boyfriend that has no significance to her, should not have that much over her children, did. Yeah. And I just was like, I had to get up and go eat a candy or something. I was like, I still got like an hour and 30 minutes to go.
To be more upset because really that was like, oh my god,
my foot was shaking and everything. I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, no, definitely. She didn't have anybody in her sight, and of course, like her history, like it didn't help either. So Melissa Lucio was accused of killing her youngest, Mariah. Mm-hmm. She was 2, I believe, when this happened, right? Yeah. She was little one of 14 kids?
Yeah.
Of 14 kids. So half of the, not I wouldn't say half, but majority of them were from another dad, and the other half were from the father that when this incident happened. I think so, yeah. That's the case with that one. Of course, Melissa had some issues with drug use back in the day, and of course she she wasn't a perfect mom, of course, and living in that kind of system, and probably this is a generational kind of thing too, as well. And in Cameron County, it's very it's a poor area. Like
it's kind of common. Her situation
is very common. So, but with that being said, none of her cases with CPS was ever with physical abuse. I think it was neglect and like them being like not properly fed or like
it's small things. But they were properly fed. Like they didn't look skinny or like malnourished, but the surroundings, the house was just kind of like
it wasn't a proper place to have like all those kids in and stuff like that. So it was like for those issues that she was reported for CPS. It was never documented of her any physical harm towards any of the kids. No, so I think that's important to point out, because I think that should have been played a big major thing for her case of like, okay, there's so many times of physical harm, like, okay, it's going to lead up to someone unfortunately passing away. Yep. So that was with that, and that happened in February 15, 2017. So during that time, on that date, how it was that Mariah, she claimed, and everybody else who saw, or the kids that saw, that she claimed she fell down a flight of stairs. Mm-hmm. So that flight of stairs, she fell down. I guess there was no apparent like physical stuff happening with her, like major, like for her not to take her to the hospital. Mm-hmm. But 2 days later, she didn't wake up from a nap. So pretty much, she just went to sleep and passed away that way. Which in reality, hopefully, she probably was in pain the whole time that she was there, but, she was 2 and you get distracted, and they're very flexible at that age too as well. So they're just continue being kids, but, it was all internal with her.
Yeah, what was going on with her.
So that happened. And, so during that time, when she fell down, actually it was noted too that Mariah actually had like a minor physical disability where it wouldn't allow her to like walk properly.
Her foot was
like kind of going in, right?
Yeah, kind of like, what do they call, like pigeon toe?
Yeah.
Where they like face each other or something, and they said she was prone to clumsiness, and I mean I'm prone to clumsiness, and my feet are straight. So I can imagine going down some stairs and being a 2-year-old, your gait's unsteady anyway. Like your walk and everything, you just the shoes are clunky, especially if you don't wear them that often. Yeah. So
I mean, she's due. It's normal for them to fall off stairs too, as well, even if there's no issue. But it was noted that she did have some issues with her walking because of her feet issues. Mm-hmm. So it was a kind of a normal thing. But anyway, so that happened. She passed away after 2 days. Within right after her death, I say 2 hours later after her death, Melissa gets arrested. And when she gets arrested, she gets interrogated for 5 hours straight. And it was during that time where interrogation was kind of done kind of not the proper way. So now that we know there's no like, well, there is some issues with interrogation still now, but it's gone better than what it was when she got arrested, right? Yeah. So during that time, there was a lot of questions on how she was interrogated and how long she was, and there was a lot of coercion even from the police officers that were interviewing her for that stuff. So that's the gist of it. Like, this is the reason why she's in jail. So she's been in jail for parole. Without what she has no parole, right? No, she can't parole out. She's life in prison, and she was actually the first Latina to be sentenced to death. Yeah, so sentenced to death. And she was actually happened April 27th?
April 27th is the day of the execution. So she's no longer going to be...
She's no longer going to be unalived, in other words. Or
well, no. She's no longer going to be executed, but she's still in prison. Like, they haven't released her. They're just saying, we're going to revisit everything. And
now she has a chance of trial.
But dang, that's like a long time. What was that, 12 years ago? Yeah. And then... I mean, yes, a relief that there's a stay of execution, but it's like, well, shit, now I've got to stay even longer. I guess in her situation, I'd stay. I'll be like, all right.
Yeah, I know. You're just relieved that you're freaking gonna be awake the next day.
Let me do my whatever, because then and she may end up doing the 30 years before they are just kind of like, okay, cool, you're good. Like you've already your time, and I mean, but what I don't get is that within that time frame, you don't hear them say she denied a lawyer, she denied, not wanting to speak to anybody. They didn't offer her one.
Yeah.
They didn't do a break. They didn't give her like water. Like she's just sitting there. And I mean, if you've ever been caught and you're just not caught, but if you ever been like talked down to by someone that you're just you're scared, I would have started saying yes to stuff too. And
yeah, and
I think that's what I did when I was a kid. I was just kind of like, yes,
I
let's get it over. Let's get the punishment. Okay, and I can go over there.
Go. Oh yeah, let's go. And yeah, it's been documented too. And with her history too, it didn't help because she herself was abused and like physically and sexually abused. So, she was more successful to more accepted to. It was more common for her to be coerced and to
by men,
falsely have this like confession, done. So so there is some they're saying that there's like 10 issues with this case that there's issues with this case that should have been like looked up and stuff, but one we discussed one that they're saying that it was an accident, not a murder. The number 2 was that Melissa has maintained her innocence for over 14 years, so she's never said even after her confession, she's always maintained that she never did it. And 3, Melissa was interrogated like we mentioned 2 hours after Maya was passed away. She got arrested, and then for 5 hours she was intimidated and coerced by the police officers. Like you said, when someone's like telling you something, you're just gonna say
eventually she started giving in.
Exactly. So and when her confession, which was kind of crazy, like even her confession, she's like, when she finally was breaking, she's like, I guess I did it. And I guess I did it, and then they put the baby in front of her. Okay, well, show me how you hit her. Yeah. And you saw the video of her pounding that baby, and so it was just seeing like, I guess I did it was like, oh man, they got her, and they already got what they needed from her, and they're just gonna continue doing it. So it was kind of crazy. So another red flag from this case was actually from that. Those same investigators were present for the little one's biopsy. So the biopsies and stuff like that. So that was already like, it's already a biased autopsy because the investigators were there. And so they were kind of like, I guess, their presence there made that person, the medical examiner, kind of like, it's not an equal, like even that, not even an equal, like a fair chance of the medical examiner like questioning properly the body and like going through it. So they were just
their normal process, like for the autopsy, like the okay.
I don't think so. But they were there present, and they wanted to like hear what the person was going to say about the case and everything. So no, I don't think it's like very common for them to be there, but they're saying that their presence there kind of created a biased autopsy process. Yeah. So. The other number 4 was like false and misleading evidence, which leads to that medical examiner. Excuse me. When you say that medical examiner, so the medical examiner testified, like you were saying, that the bruises and injuries on Maria's body could only be caused by abuse. So she went straight there and like, it's because of abuse. This is the only reason why she has these bruises and why all this stuff. So for her stating that like just bluntly like that and not not really giving more of a depth look into it, it really triggered a lot of the people there, and like towards like that pretty much from her fate. A pathologist later on they review these cases, and they've been reviewing her case, and they found that actually she had signs of a blood coagulation disorder, which causes bruises throughout the body. So little one, they investigated, they found out that she does have that disorder, so she's even more easier to bruise and create like these bigger markings in her body.
Yeah, she's not able to clot that well, so they are going to look kind of more severe
or more often, even if they're just like hitting themselves very lightly, but that causes a big bruise.
They said I think the doctor in Kansas City was saying, he goes, just as simple as laying down on the bed or the blanket brushing against you or something. I was like, holy smokes, like you can be that
sensitive. Also like if you're anemic and stuff, some people who are like very anemic, they're very sensitive of bruising. So that's actually something that I've heard, but they did discover that she does have that disorder. So that's something to consider as well. And the other false or misleading evidence that she put in this the medical examiner was the bite marks. Did you remember that they found some bite marks on her?
The back? Huh? Was it on her back?
Yeah, it was on her back or something that they found a bite mark, and she pretty much said it's a bite mark. And actually, after that case, bite marks have been defined as not credible. It's fake science, because even like people who are dentist, pathology, like they're the ones who are called in. They can never say it's very undecisive, or is not very clear that it's actually a bite mark. So now they're not even using bite marks to be proven into case, because it could be anything. It's not very clear.
Look like teeth.
Well, I know they said it's not very clear, because even though they put in some other people who are experts in that field, they're like, this is very this shouldn't be used against trial, because it could be anything else. So that's what they're saying about the whole bite marks too as well. Yeah. So that was actually pretty interesting, which I found. But yeah, that's one of the number 4, the red flags of this case, of course. And number 5 was the state never presented no evidence that Melissa had abused or any of her. That never presented the evidence that Melissa has ever abused any of her other children. This is referencing to the CPS cases. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they just mentioned she was investigated for CPS, but they never showed the records of why she was investigated. Yep. That was never about physical abuse. So the jury, nobody else heard about that either. Number 6 is that Melissa is a actually has a history, like we were mentioning earlier, of history of abuse, physical abuse and sexual abuse. Mm-hmm. She was being sexually abused by the age of 6 by family members around her, and nobody believed her. Like her mom, like you mentioned, didn't believe her either at that time.
Well, I think she said it started with the mom's boyfriend.
Yeah, it happened.
And then she said that it continued with family members. She's like, I just allowed it. She's like, I just allowed myself to become to be a victim, and I was like,
yeah, it was like it became normal for her.
She probably was defeated, and that's why she got married so young. She's like, to escape my childhood.
Yeah, and unfortunately, she got married at 16, but ran right into another abuser as well. Because she was saying that she was marital rape. Happens, and that's another thing that a lot of people don't believe in is marital rape. But that was going on with her with the first husband and the second one too, and the second one also was a physical abuser person too as well. So her cycle of being around people who were abusive towards her, which is continuing, Mm-hmm. And so that's something kind of and so that information wasn't allowed to be shown to the jurors or to anybody, that she had a history of herself being sexually abused and physical abuse, just to try to explain her mannerisms when she got interrogated, because it all ties together at the end. Yeah. So that was one of the things that they didn't get to hear. And number 7, of course, from those two that the jury didn't get to hear, they didn't really get to hear Melissa's defense regarding everything that's happened, her history. Her history pretty much does portray why she wasn't parenting what everybody thought else, the proper way of parenting, I guess.
She did pretty good. I mean, one of the sons was saying, I'd be put in the corner. And I just remember getting la chancla and, the belt and all sorts of stuff. So I'm just like, that works? You could have put me in the corner and I would have been good. I was like, what the hell? So,
I agree with you. I don't think she did anything out of normal that how we were raised either. But the thing is that everything was so focused on her parenting, how bad of a mom she was, that she wasn't able to explain her history of trauma herself, and what let her stay with men who were abusive or be around that area, why she buckled in with 2 men that were interrogating and belittling her in the room for 5 hours.
Yeah, they should have had at least a woman there, to they bullied her, and to me, that's called disassociation, where you just kind of you just zone out, you tune out, you're just kind of like a robot, you're just doing what you got to do. And maybe by then she started realizing I'm never going to get out of here if I don't tell them something that they want to hear.
That they want to hear. Yeah. I completely agree with you with that one. And so like we were saying, they didn't let her defend herself, hear her defense. But the court did. I mean, they didn't allow it at all, but they did allow the Texas Ranger who covered Lucio, who investigated her, to testify, and that his testimony was he believed she did it because of her slump posture, her passivity, she was too passive, and her failure to make eye contact. That told him that she was guilty. So he was allowed to say that her mannerisms were telling her this is a guilty person, versus having her defense explain this is why her mannerism is there, because she has trauma with men and you had to, you know what I mean? So they didn't allow to for Melissa to represent herself, like of why she seemed like that, you know.
They didn't have expert witnesses. They didn't have like a therapist to interview her, to even just like, well, okay, maybe she did do it, let's find out why.
Yeah.
You know, and then, but all they kept saying was like, it's okay, you know, we all make mistakes and I get upset too and just that. And I'm just kind of like,
it's a manipulation and trying for you to agree and like to go for it.
But I'm glad she stuck her ground. It's unfortunate what happened while she stuck her ground, but she was just like, no. And it's like a shiny moment to say like she finally stood up for herself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's just a horrible thing to go through, or to see someone to go through, now that we're seeing everything. And of course, number 8, the man of like who did this whole thing was the Cameron County DA, Armando Villalobos.
Yep.
He was a crooked guy, and you know what? In the Rio Grande Valley, the politicians, people in those kind of areas were very crooked, and there still are, but they're a little bit outed, a little bit more now in the valley, in the Rio Grande Valley. So that's an issue that we have there, that the politicians and people who are representing the people there are kind of taking these briberies or racketeering, or like, you do this for me, I do this for you kind of thing. And it's always about like having that prestige of being a rep or being a city rep or things like that. So it's been very known in the RGV to have that issue, and he was one of them. So he was actually, during the time that Melissa was doing her trial, he was running for re-election, and he wanted to, have a win, right behind him.
Well, he just had already released a man he pled guilty, this man, to murder, and they let him walk free, and then now he's missing. So because of that, they were saying that now he needed to, crack down, and they made an example out of Melissa.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. That's why I said earlier that she was like a prime target, because she didn't know any better. Yeah. She didn't ask for a lawyer. She did, it was just kind of like a slam dunk for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just the way it went.
That's how it went. And, you're right on that one. Also, he had other controversy too regarding how he failed through with the investigations of over 100 child abuse cases already before Melissa. So there was all these allegations, plus that man, all that stuff. So he just wanted to prove like he's tough on crime, and she was there, easy target, easy person to just ram, through the system, and he was hoping that nobody would remember and just, continue his life of being all that. But, all the crookedness, all the thing you think you're being all slick and stuff, it all comes back to you, because guess where he's at now? He's 13 years in the federal prison system for extortion and bribing.
Just 13 though.
Only 13, exactly. Just he's probably going to be almost, I think he's already out, isn't he? Because, or I don't know, it depends when they caught him. It depends when he got arrested for this.
Yeah, because I think it took a while after for them to get all that information and stuff.
Yeah, I hated seeing him in the freaking
documentary. Her own defense attorney, like, he made it big too, because after her case, he went on to move into the DA's office, and he was making more money. And when they interviewed him, he just had no empathy for her. He was just kind of like, no. And I'm just like, this is a white man that represented a Hispanic woman, and he had no way in the world of feeling anything for her, just for a client, no matter the race. This is his client, and he didn't do the best of his ability as a defense attorney. He did not. And
he just let her to burn there and burn alive. And I guess they were all just hoping, this is another brown woman, everyone's gonna forget about her, they're all gonna hate her, and that's it. Wipe my hands off of this, and we get our promotions, you get reelected, and we continue swindling the people of the Cameron County. You know what I mean? So it was unfortunate with that, but yeah, definitely. So number 9, another issue that they were saying about this case, of course, is Melissa had a hallmark of like all like the wrongful convictions built upon her false confession. So meaning what we're touching base before is that her abuse or her mannerisms, all that kind of explains why she did confess, or why she falsely confessed or agreed to what they were saying. So 15 years from now, fast forward, we know now not to stick someone in interrogation room for 5 years, 5 hours. That'd be horrible. For 5 hours, and like just go at them until they're able to like agree with you and just continue with everything. So there's a lot of stuff that was learned from that, from her interrogation, of like the coercion from the cops and how they went at her and why she was so like at the end, like when she had enough, she broke and she just okay. She said what they wanted to hear because they weren't going to let her. Like you were saying, they're not going to let her out until she says it. It's going to continue happening.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate to do as well. But I guess number 10 about this case is that actually everybody saw the BS. I guess afterwards, after there was more highlight, after there was more like attention to this case, and she got representation from the Innocent Project, and she got better lawyers and stuff, more funding for her thing. There has been a lot of support for her to get this clemency for her not to get the stay. What we just reached right now on April 27th. She actually had 100 bipartisan Texas lawmakers sign letters to urge the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles to recommend this clemency. So she's had a lot of support with actually the people in the law. Yeah. Actually, both sides of the political system were urging for this to get retried for a fair trial because of all the shit that this whole freaking court, like the whole court case was awful. And so with all that attention, there's other supporters backing her up, like Kim Kardashian. Have you heard, I don't know if you heard that she was backing her up.
Oh, I saw her. She signed something.
She signed a petition and kind of voiced her backing for. I don't know if she gave money because I know with the other person she was helping, she was funding it too.
So I hope she did that. I hated that they threw her in there. I mean, that's great. Yeah. You can support, but we don't need to see your name. This is about her,
Melissa, yeah. I think she might have helped with the funding because I know she's been doing that with other black men, that she's able to fund their cases so that way they can get good lawyers. But I don't know. Who knows? And it was her and John Oliver as well, to another person who was very outspoken. John Oliver, I want to say, is that comedian host that has a show. It's kind of like one of those politics kind of show, but
okay.
He pokes fun at all that
I'm
stuff.
probably better with the face.
Yeah, I think I'll show you who he is, but that's who I'm seeing in my head. I could be freaking completely wrong too. It could be another freaking person, completely opposite what I'm saying. But yeah. So actually, Lucio's case, the people that are helping her, they submitted for this stuff actually before, and they've been denied twice. So this third time around, when they submitted on March 22nd, it was accepted, and they called her and they submitted this because of the issues of the medical examiner, the false confession, and also that application they did. It actually included 5 jurors who came up and said that. They were very serious concerns about the evidence that had been withheld from them, and that she needs to have a fair trial, and so that way they can feel relief from that outing when they were involved. So that's actually pretty good. They got 5 jurors from out of there to say they didn't agree with all the stuff that they were being omitted from them, and they couldn't have a good conscience of them making a proper decision. So that also was in the application of that too as well. So that's pretty great. So recently, I don't know if you saw where she got delivered the news of her of the state allowing her to.
Oh yeah, they called her and I think she was crying, but she was just like, "Well, what does that mean?" And he's just "You're not going to be." It's not gonna happen after all. She's like, "Oh, okay." It's just oh, poor girl.
Yeah, I know.
She didn't realize how the relief that was supposed to come of what she heard.
Yeah. She was there's laughter and crying because of the relief of that whole knowing that's coming close. And actually, the person who called her was actually a Republican state rep, Jeff Leach, and he was actually a very supporter of capital punishment. But during this time, he saw the bullshit at least. That's always good to know that people are still doing good jobs out there, no matter what party you're at. But they're still understanding shit. Maybe the death penalty isn't the greatest thing all the time.
They should probably sue this. What's his name? Peter Gilman, her defense attorney, her original defense attorney.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, he just, never mind his opinion about her aside. Yeah. I mean, they put that aside. He just didn't do his job at all. I know. And, I think there was what's her name? Lisa Marie Garnes, I believe. She's a private investigator. She was trying to help out and work on appeals, and she approached him and was just kind of did you know such and such information? And he's just like, well, what difference does it make? It just was not going to help the situation. And they're saying because of what they found out. And then this other person, Norma, she purged herself like she's the one, she knew of the information that was given to Mr. Gilman, and she still said, there's nothing that I could, that I have, everything's the truth on here, and she signs it, and then she had the notary and everything. So I'm just kind of like, well, where are all these people? How come we're not like pointing the finger at them and being like, exactly. But I'm like, this was a good one. I like watching these documentaries. It reminded me of I don't know if we can say this, the trials of the little boy, Gabriel Fernandez or something.
It was so sad, that one
too. Now that's all reported abuse, and then the mom got off.
Yeah.
She's fine. I mean, nowhere near any of that stuff, and it's just like, this was reported every single time, and even he said it. He told family, and he just whatever, and she got off, and I don't think the boyfriend did, though.
No,
for his contribution, I don't think, he got off, but I mean, like her. So I'm just like, those are the abuse cases that, they did their job.
Yeah.
Everybody did their job. And in this one, it was just kind of like,
yeah, she's gonna fall through the cracks. Like, no one's really gonna care. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's crazy, like how you mentioned, like the difference of like what other people get and like what she got at that time. And when that rep like called her, like one of the things he said like was like very like, oh shit, that's like that's heavy. He's like, what it means, like, she didn't understand. Like, he's like, well, it means that you're going to wake up on Thursday morning. And it's like, oh my God.
There you go. Yeah, that's what he told her. And then like, she was already just kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll take that. Oh my God. So that was kind of freaking crazy. Like, just the way he said it. And it's just like, wow, like shit, like kind of knowing that you're gonna die, and the time is clicking, and like I guess the history of Texas, they really don't do this all that often.
Well, they said it's about 1%. 1% that they'll allow. It's never like very, very slim, very slim given, and 1% is very small.
Yeah.
Think about it, because we're Texas. We'll fry and
and be happy about it.
Yeah, and we'll just be like, okay. But this was. I'm glad even if like, I mean, I hope she gets out. But even if not, like it's just like he said. He's like, you're gonna wake up.
But you're gonna be alive.
And this was so we're the first now. This was like 4 or 5 days ago. Yeah. So it's probably a whole new meaning on life. Colors are brighter.
Yeah.
Smells are just oh my goodness.
She's not saying her last goodbyes to her kids.
Exactly, and she has a better lookout in future, like for her children.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just amazing that she's getting this opportunity, and that hopefully that we don't lose sight of the whole situation, and that she still gets highlighted and focused, so that way this trial can happen, right? Mm-hmm. So that we're not there like forgetting about it, and then her trial never comes to come forth. It takes forever. So hopefully that she's getting they submit all this new evidence and like actual evidence that will exonerate her from her little one's death. So just to give you some information, like there's 3,000 cases of exonerated individuals. About 12% involved they have false confessions, according to this is according to like in April 2022. So these numbers are recent, and these are analysis done by the National Registry of Exonerations. Nearly 1 in 3 exonerated women were wrongly convicted of harming children or other loved ones in their care, and over 70% were wrongly convicted of crimes that they never even did at all. This is involving accidents, deaths by suicide, or like fabricating data. And this again was information from the National Registry of Exoneration. So we know that this is happening, and this is just one of the cases of several that's happened, and it's been a very notorious case for a while, and I'm glad that it's finally getting this closure, and hopefully she'll be getting a fair trial soon.
Yeah.
And definitely hopefully getting a fair trial soon. There's definitely still petitions going on, so if you find one, just go ahead and sign if you want to support regarding this situation. But it was kind of crazy how everything went down. I like seeing the documentary. There has been a little bit of drama of like some of the kids saying stuff, but a lot of it they're saying that their memory is so blurry, and also they're getting misguided from like hearsay information, so it's a little bit not trusted. But a lot of the kids are excited that they're going to get a second chance, hopefully with their mom. So we'll see how this outcome comes, and hopefully she will get that fair trial, and she can declare innocence promptly there. So I don't know. It's just one of those cases that it's going to be ongoing. Hopefully it continues soon. But that's it for
definitely
us.
will be studied.
Oh yeah.
I think for anyone that's going to be a lawyer, if you're doing criminal justice, any of that stuff, it's going to come up, and it's going to be something that they're just going to be, it's not as simple as this little girl dying, but how the case can take a turn for the worse, and
from A to Z, from the judge, from the media, from the lawyers you get,
involved.
from all that, from the DA. Everything is so you can dissect this case and like see the biases and see like everything else, and hopefully like the future, like the lawyers, future DAs and stuff, people in the law enforcement, get to see this stuff and educate themselves, and hopefully it just turns out better for the system. But there's definitely a lot of systematical issues with the judicial system, with like police and with the courts and stuff like that. But I'm hoping like you said, this is a learning experience, and hopefully they can figure this out soon, or they get more information from this. But yeah, it's been crazy. We'll see how it goes. Wishing the best for her and her family. Hopefully can heal and like eventually put Mariah in peace, like a proper baby, proper resting. She's the only one who's not here able to defend herself anymore. So RIP for her, and hopefully everybody stays blessed and careful out there. That's it for us. See y'all later. Bye.